fantasy football talk. We back.
The exciting week. Hopefully, get some good interactions with the audience. Some questions. There's been a whole lot of crazy stuff happening this week.
Yeah,
So we with your fantasy squads.
um, I went 2-4.
Oh,
I didn't do too well,
shame.
but I mean, it's a bright side to it. I
Okay.
won in the league that I really wanted to win in because I gotta stay in that one, which we
Right.
already know which one that
Yeah,
is. So
the
you
big
gotta
money
stay in it.
joint.
Big money jump. So I
Right.
won in that one, and I won in another league. So I'm
Okay.
I'm still in the thick of things in all the leagues. So I just gotta start to write a little bit of stuff. But I'm good though. I think I
All
can
right.
make the playoffs in all of them. So I ain't tripping too much.
Well, I'm gonna toot my own horn because not only did my Raiders pull out the surprise win and
That's
beat the
true.
Chiefs, I knew they were gonna beat the Chiefs this year. I kind of from the peanut gallery over here, but I knew we were gonna beat the Chiefs this year. I did not think it was going to be the game in Kansas City. I was waiting to make the genius call and say the Raiders beat the Chiefs in Las Vegas. But apparently they got ahead of my schedule and won this week. So I had some success there and happiness, even though my wife was not as happy. She's from Kansas City. But also, I went 5-2 this week
Wow.
in my fantasy football. I've been like 3-4 pretty much every week. So this is the first winning week I've had this year, and I squeaked by on like one game. The league, one of the leagues we both in, I won by like a point and a half, maybe not even that many. And then the other league I won by like 0.4 points. So I'm hoping and praying that stat corrections don't mess because stat corrections like killed me last year. So I'm waiting to see how these come in, but I haven't so far 5 wins. So
I just got one question for you.
Yo, what's up?
Did she make you sleep on the couch?
You are not the first person to ask that.
I just want to know. I mean, it's
like
no.
no. Hey, it's all love after the game's over. So
okay,
know,
I just want to make sure
she's a very gracious sport. So
okay,
we've only beat the Chiefs I think twice in the last 10 or so years. So it's not like I'll get too many. So when I get a win, she lets me live with it. So
I'm pretty sure it was pretty intense over there when y'all was watching.
During the game, it was crazy.
Yeah. Was you? So you was on one side, she was on the other side, and y'all won't talk to each other when it went
we
down?
talked the whole time.
Okay, just want to make sure. Hey,
yeah,
that's all.
Yeah.
Hey, I want the people to get an insight on how was it doing that battle.
That's one we should have recorded live, but it had to have the right rating on the
Oh, okay, I guess. I guess. Hey, look, I ain't mad at you.
Yeah.
But we got a good show, people. You know how we started out. We always start with the impact players of the week from all the positions.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go with always like we do. We're gonna start with our quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. And I was gonna say this guy number 1, but I'm gonna save it for last.
Okay.
But I'm gonna say the first guy is Ryan Fitzpatrick. 22 or 28, 350, 3 touchdowns against my boys. We looked terrible.
Yeah, I did. I was gonna mention that.
That's all right. Hey, I take that. I was a little upset Sunday, definitely. Teddy Bridgewater, 27, 37, 313, 2 touchdowns. He had 300 yards at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
So that tell you something. They probably went to the running game. They was up by a lot. Deshaun Watson, 25, 35, 359, 3 touchdowns.
Finally,
big
Deshaun Watson. That's the big part of me finally winning some games because I have Deshaun Watson in 2 leagues, and I was like, give me something. Give me something. So.
And then my last one, from the Las Vegas Raiders, Derek Carr, 22 of 31, 347. He beat the mighty Kansas City Chiefs with 3 touchdowns. I'm gonna clap for him.
And 347 yards.
Yeah, definitely. So he definitely
he was the first one on my list.
Yes. I could have added some more to this list, but I wanted to narrow it down to these 4 guys because I think these 4 guys stood out the most, especially like Deshaun Watson because it's been tough for him so far this year, and he came out finally and did some stuff. Mm-hmm. So Fitzpatrick, they balled out. I can't take nothing away from that. Bridgewater has been a big surprise this year.
Exactly, because we were not that high on. We didn't think he was going to be bad. But he was like, low range guy. He's been doing it. I'm gonna add a couple of other one. Of course, the rookie I'm big on, Justin Herbert, 4 touchdowns, 264 yards. I have him in one league, and he is gonna start. He's about to move into my starting lineup because, well, not this week. They have a bye this week, but hey, Matt Ryan. We're gonna talk more about this in our what now section, but you know, it's a maddening thing watching Matt Ryan, but Justin Herbert's about to be in my starting lineup. He had a great week, and I'm gonna throw in just one more name, Ryan Tannehill, another guy that we were kind of questioning, like, okay, was it a fluke what we saw last year? Because, you know, his Miami career was not great, so we were like, I don't know whether you believe what you saw in Tennessee last year. I think you do now. If you didn't before, he had 3 touchdowns, not a lot of yards. But he had the 42 rushing yards, and then rushing touchdown.
He had 4 touchdowns, but I will say this about Tannehill, and we talked about this on the phone yesterday. He fits the system that they're running. He's not being relied upon.
The guy, and so he just to fill in when they need him to fill in, and he does. Yeah, not a lot of pressure on him, and when they need him to do his thing, he's been doing his thing. So, hey.
So that's why I think that works out a lot for him because he really fits what they need.
Yeah,
he focuses on his number one, who AJ Brown had a monster game in the first half yesterday. I'm so glad he's back because I got him in like 3 leagues.
You and me both.
He did work for me, so I appreciate him. And he looked for him, so you can tell that him and Jonnu Smith were big for Tannehill last night. So I definitely think him and that offense is really good. So he fits that offense to a T. Yeah. We're gonna slide into running backs, and I gotta show some love to Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley had 121 yards and a touchdown. Big. Yeah. That's probably the only bright spot in Atlanta at this point anyway. I mean, we're going to talk about that. But Zeke, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ronald Jones II had 106 yards. He didn't have a touchdown, but he looked good. He's looking good.
Looked good running the ball. I don't like it because I have so many Leonard Fournette shares across my leagues. I'm like, man, he's looking too good. But
now he's holding Leonard Fournette at bay.
Yeah,
really. He's had 2 consistent games of 100 yards apiece, and he's gonna keep getting the ball. Long as he pass protects in the backfield for Tom Brady, I think he's gonna stay in the game. And Alexander Madison, who came in for Dalvin Cook and had 112 yards. He's supposed to start this week if Dalvin Cook don't play. So those are my 4 running backs that I had that I can appreciate this week that did really good work. So who do you have?
All right, before I get to my running backs, I'm going to let you know. We got our first question for the night, Alligator Feed 11. Kenny Galladay or Tyreek Hill? This is full PPR. Who do you roll with?
I'm going Kenny Galladay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Stafford looks for him.
Yeah.
All day, every day. I mean, Kansas City, Tyreek Hill is gonna get his.
Yeah.
But it's
a lot of mouths to feed there.
It's
a lot of mouths to feed there.
And they talking about possibly getting
McCole Hardman is about to, because Sammy Watkins is out. And I don't usually you have one of your rides, you might think Tyreek Hill gets more.
Yeah.
Not with McCole has been waiting for his moment. And
McCole Hardman gonna get that work. So I'm going Kenny Galladay because I mean you have Mari Jones on the other end. Galladay is gonna get his all day long. So to me that's easy. I'm going Galladay all day long.
Well, I can understand why it's not necessary. I won't go as far as saying it's easy, but the good part is those are 2 great wide receivers. So I don't think there's really a bad answer to those. So it's one of those questions you can't get wrong, right? So if you look at the Jaguars defense versus playing the Bills defense, Tyreek Hill and them playing against the Bills, and then Kenny Galladay against the Jaguars, and it's kind of a toss-up. So, like, I think I'm going to just go with Galladay because, like you said, Stafford will lock in on Galladay. I don't quite feel that way about Tyreek Hill.
No.
But I love them both. I think they're
Definitely.
both good
I
plays.
love
They're
both
both
of them.
good plays this week, but I'm gonna give the edge to Galladay for that one.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So,
All right, Luna says she's been having trouble signing in, but glad you're here with us. The first, I actually lied when I said alligator feet 11 was the first comment. The first comment was my wife said that she's not that evil when you asked if I was sitting on the couch, and I agree, she's not that. She's a very gracious. I won't even say a loser. When her team loses, she's great.
Look, we know. Yeah. We all love her. We're family, so we understand. I know how she is. It's all love and will. We grudge all the time over who's the best tight end in the league. But at the end of the day, it's
that anymore, right?
It's no. Kittle's the best.
Let me get to my running backs because I want to get to tight end so I can say who the best tight end is. Okay. I love your list. I had all the same. The only other name I'm going to go through is, and he's been doing this consistently, Mike Davis with 89 rushing yards, 60 receiving yards, a touchdown. The only thing about Mike Davis is I think his time is coming close to an end. They're talking about maybe in the next 2 weeks McCaffrey being back.
Yeah.
In which case, Davis has been nice, but I don't think that's gonna pay off much. So enjoy these last couple of weeks you might have with him. And Miles Sanders looking pretty good. 80 yards rushing, only 19 receiving, but he had 2 touchdowns. So throw that out there. And I'm just gonna toot my horn on this one because I told y'all last week Chase Edmonds is the pickup.
Chase Edmonds is the pickup. He is. I actually got one question. Does he take that job fully?
Maybe. I think they're gonna still have Kenyon Drake out here, but I think what Chase Edmonds does in the as far as receptions is what's gonna keep him on the field. But there is one small caveat when we get to our what now section that might scare me about Chase Edmonds. A little preview of what we're talking about when we're talking about what now. One of the things is Le'Veon Bell getting released, and I read that the Cardinals might be one of those teams. I'm hoping not, because I got a good thing going with Chase Edmonds. I don't want them to mess it up.
So I read something too, but
we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Wide receivers, tight ends.
Wide receivers / tight ends. Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
Went on the list. 8 receptions, 161, and a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Travis Fulgham. I know I messed up his name, people, but it's okay.
We were practicing saying it.
And he did say this, that I was going to mess it up when I got up here. But I'll take that. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
He's from ODU. Yeah. He's a local, and we love it. So
yes, indeed.
He's 10 receptions, 152, and a touchdown. I don't think he keeps it going, but I could be wrong. Calvin Ridley, 8 receptions, 136, no touchdowns, but definitely big from the standpoint of he didn't really do anything the last 2 weeks.
Right.
And for him to do something this week was good. In a losing cause, though. Mm-hmm. CeeDee Lamb, I'm telling people, CeeDee Lamb is going to take that number 1 job. I'm saying it, and I've been saying it the whole year. 8 receptions, 124, no touchdowns. But Dalton looked at CeeDee Lamb the whole entire
that's what I was going to bring up. It's
when he came in.
Also in that what now section, what to do now with Andy Dalton. And I agree with you. CeeDee Lamb is looking a bit enticing, isn't he?
Yes. Yes, he is. And then I'm going to throw a little nugget in there.
Okay.
Finally came along. He finally did something. Emmanuel Sanders.
Yes.
12 for 122, no touchdowns.
No touchdowns, but the targets.
The targets were there. The yards were there. I feel like him and Breeze are getting in a groove right now because when Michael Thomas come back, I think they're going to be very explosive as far as those 2 receivers. So if he's available, you need to pick him up.
If you haven't got him already, I agree.
Exactly. And then for time man that did work this week, and that's Travis Kelce. 8 receptions,
there you go,
and a touchdown. So
you wanted to beat me to
I
it.
Give it to him. Yes, don't worry about that. Yes, I was gonna beat you to it because I knew you was going.
Yeah, I was ready. I was locked and loaded. So
that's all right.
You took
I had Gesicki down there. He did work.
He did Gesicki because the week before he didn't look that great, but he came back this week.
Yeah, he did good. But Kelce was probably the best tight end as far as status.
I used to say the word properly. He was the best tight end last week. Period. But go ahead. in the rest of the season. But all right, before I go to my list, because I have a lot of the same ones, it's not going to be that different from your list. Alligator Feed 11 back again says thanks, but he has another question. Hey, as many questions as you have, we got all day.
Yes.
And this is for a flex spot. I know one of these names you're gonna like. Raheem Mustard, Myles Gaskin, and I'm already eliminating his third one, Kenyon Drake. Not Kenyon Drake. So
No. Kenyon Drake, no.
It's never Kenyon Drake until we see some work from Kenyon Drake.
I would
But
say
Mustard and Gaskin, who do you like between those two?
I'm gonna put my homer hat aside.
Okay.
But I'm still going Mustard. So, and the reason I'm gonna give you some facts. The reason I say this, last week he had 11 carries for 90 yards. He averaged 8 point something per carry, and he's only getting about maybe 15 or 16 carries a game, and he's hitting that century mark.
Right.
And he's doing it in a passing game too. Also, so I feel like you get more out of Raheem Mustard than you would Gaskin. Gaskin gets a lot of the goal line work. If you watch that game, because I watched the game last week when we played him, he gets a lot of the goal line work, and he gets stuffed in between the 50s. The 30 and the 30. He gets stuffed in between that. But he gets a lot of that goal line work. Raheem Mustard gets he can break one at any moment. That's the beautiful thing about him. So I'm going Raheem Mustard, just putting my homer hat off. But putting my homer hat on, I'm going Raheem Mustard anyway. So that's just me.
So whether you're a homer or not, the answer was going to be Mustard, right?
Yeah, of course. I was going to say that.
Well, this is one where I actually might the last question with Galladay and Hill, I didn't really care too much about the defenses. It's kind of a split. They're both great players. This one, I'm trying to think a little bit more because you got the Rams.
They play the Jets.
And well, you got the Rams with you guys, and then Gaskin's playing the Jets. And it's not like the Rams' rushing defense has been, able to really hold people back that much. I like y'all running game, though, a lot more. And I really want to see what happens quarterback-wise. Because, with Jimmy G looking very injured last week.
They said he full practice today.
Right.
And they said he was not on the injured list, so they say he's going to play Sunday. That's the word going around there. He just got to finish out the week, but they say he's going to play, though.
Right. So. But even if he plays, I'm wondering whether they're going to rely on that running game even more than they
gonna run
normally.
The ball.
I mean, it's not like they don't rely on the running game anyway.
Yeah.
But I think Mustard might get a whole lot of work. Myles Gaskin, of course, the benefit of playing the Jets is they're better than the Jets.
Yeah.
And so I think they'll probably use that running game a lot there anyway. But despite you being a homer, I think I'm going to go with you and say Mustard because I think Mustard is still the better. I love y'all rushing game. I really love y'all rushing game. So
I just look at it this way.
Yeah. And also, go ahead.
You got McKinnon back there.
Yeah.
You got Mustard. So you got these other guys coming in to take carries away. What I'm saying is this. He's getting 11 to 15 carries a game, and he's literally getting over 100 total yards each week. So he's catching. It was 1 week he caught a 5 and a cross and took it 80 yards, and then he took I think it's up the middle, and he literally went 80 yards on that one. So it's like he can burst out an 80-yard play because he's so fast.
There's no question that I think Mustard's the better running back. I give you that hands down. I kind of like I keep wanting to say Gaskins, but I actually think I think you're right that Mustard's the right play.
I mean, if you think about matchups, the matchup is there for the Jets.
Yeah.
But I still don't think it even matters because we run the ball so much.
Uh-huh.
I think he gonna have a play where he can bust it out, at least once or twice. So that's my thing. But I mean, if you can run both of them, run both of them. But if you had to pick one, I'm definitely going Mustard.
If I'm flipping a coin, what I always say it always goes down to talent. And if I'm flipping a coin on these, I'm gonna go Mustard because I think he's a more talented running back than Gaskin is. and that's why I make that choice. Alligator Feed says he thanks and he subbed. Thank you for subscribing. We appreciate it. And he said he'll be back whenever he needs questions, and we look forward to having those conversations with you. Much appreciated. Much
appreciate.
Plus, I like the avatar with Hey Arnold. So yeah, that was one of my shows growing up. So
definitely.
All right, where were we? Did I say my wide receivers yet?
No, you did.
Did you say Chase Claypool? Because it's been so long I can't remember. But
but I was gonna add him.
Claypool,
I was add him on something else.
You gonna have him for the waiver section? Because if you don't have him and he's available, you need to be adding Chase Claypool. He looks the truth. 110 yards, 3 receiving touchdowns, plus he rushed for a touchdown, 11 targets, and it's crazy because we talked about the possibility with Roethlisberger back. This is the offense that could have 3 1,000-yard receivers. This was in the offseason. We talked about Juju, Deontay Hill, and maybe even James Washington coming in at 1,000 yards. Chase Claypool was not in the mindset, but I think he's jumped. He's not. I'm trying to decide whether I still would put him above. I don't want to be caught up in a moment and say, he might be the best guy out there, but he's looking for real.
Does he jump Deontay Johnson?
I think he jumped Deontay Johnson because Deontay Johnson can't stay healthy.
Okay,
not this year.
I give you that.
Yeah. So I think I go Juju, and I'm thinking I might go Chase Claypool next.
Well, that's the reason I asked you that, because he did that work when Deontay Johnson went out the game.
Right.
So does he jump him going forward?
I think. I mean, for one, I'm just going. Well, we've seen so far. Deontay Johnson can't stay in the game.
That's true.
He's had 2 games, I think, that he's played fully through. So, hey.
I agree. I definitely.
I am a big fan. Chase Claypool, since we were talking, I had him in my waiver wire section available. Since we're on his name, in ESPN leagues, he's only rostered in 13.5%, and in Yahoo, only rostered in 18% of the league. So, hey, waiver wires, because of this rescheduling, waivers don't clear on those 2 things until tomorrow. So, if you haven't put them in tonight, get you some Chase Claypool. You mentioned all the other ones, I think, except for I just want to say Adam Thielen, who's answering all questions about whether he could do it without Stephon Diggs there to, draw some of the attention. Thielen's looking nice.
I think with Justin Jefferson on the other side, I think that helps a lot too. But
I agree.
They still got to kind of key on Thielen, but Jefferson alone kind of the stuff he's been doing and the progress he's making. I think that helps Thielen in the long run. Yeah. Because he's becomes he's the clear number 2 receiver there. Wow. Yeah. There's nobody else there that can take his spot unless he just go out there and do completely nothing. So that's why Thielen is doing so well. Yeah. Because you can't just throw a safety over the top with him and expect. You still got to take account for Jefferson at the end of the day. So definitely, I agree with that list. I wanted to put him up there, but I think those 5 receivers that I said.
Yeah. Hey, that's why we're both doing it. So I can hit the ones that you want to say, but don't want to take all of them. So between the 2 of us, we'll get them in there.
So and then my waiver wire pickups, obviously Chase Claypool. I will say for this week alone, Alexander Madison is somebody you can pick up because running backs are thin, very thin, and he definitely what he did just by coming in the game for Dalvin Cook at that point is really good. So definitely, Andy Dalton, he's only owned in 0.2% of rosters right now.
Right.
So if you having quarterback issues with COVID injuries, he's somebody because he got weapons around him. Mm-hmm. He got 3 good receivers. He got a good O-line. He got a good running back. I mean, he got everything that a quarterback would need.
Yeah, and a very strong run game. So
very, very strong. Like, you got Zeke back there, you got Amari, you got Gallup, you got CeeDee Lamb. I mean, you can't go wrong. Right. You can throw anybody back there, and they can succeed. I mean, so with him, see if you can pick him up, see what you can get. And then Travis Fulgham from ODU. I don't know if this is going to be a permanent thing because of the fact that you got Alshon coming back, you got Deshaun coming back, you got Goddard coming back.
Right.
So it's like you got all of their playmakers coming back. Where does he fit in? It was nice to have that big game, but But the quarterback say he love him though.
Yeah,
That's all that matters.
and
I'm assuming. So if the quarterback loves you,
I think if you have a deep enough bench, I think he's at least worth stashing and seeing if it's real. But I mean, what harm can it do, right? Because if he's gonna play like that and you get it in, because like you say, he's only 1%. I saw in ESPN 4% in Yahoo, so he's out there. So grab him.
I mean,
and
is it real?
I don't really know.
I mean, because Alshon coming back this week, I heard.
Yeah.
No Deshaun.
But
so that's your two receivers. But
I guess your best thing about it, because it's Philly, their wide receivers are always hurt. So even when they come back, they're gonna be right back out the door again eventually anyway. So hey, he's worth holding on to. Even if you're just handicapping the other wide receivers.
But don't you feel like Alshon is on the wrong side of 30?
I think he's on the wrong side of any age because he's okay. Give me Alshon Jeffrey's best year. Seriously.
Man, that was so long ago.
Hold up. I'm laughing at that, but I'm also laughing at we have Shaquem joining us. And he says, have we talked about Mike Evans yet?
Lord have mercy. Lord.
No, we have not gotten to Mike Evans yet. I don't know what's wrong with us.
See, the thing is, Shaq, if you would have tuned in last week, I gave major props to Mike Evans last week. And I said Shaq would love this. But no, you didn't watch this last week. So that's your fault. So you need to tune in every week to see if we talk about Mike Evans.
Because I have nothing to say about Mike Evans this week. So.
Me either. Mike Evans scored a touchdown and they lost. Yeah. But you want me to say that? Of course.
Last week was the Mike Evans show. But he actually has a comment. He says injuries killed him this year. On one team, his bench has CMC, Austin Eckler, Chris Godwin, and Noah Fant. So it's like, goodness gracious, do you have an IR spot? Because you need a few IR spots up there.
Jeez. So, I got one piece of advice for you, Shaq. Stop drafting the whole Tampa Bay team. Because that's what you did.
Well, that's only one on this, but you've seen his full roster, so you might know the whole story.
Seen his full roster in one of his leagues. He literally had Scotty Miller, Tom Brady. He had Mike Evans. Did he have Godwin? I don't think he had Godwin, but he had too many Tampa Bay players. That's all I'm saying. I'm like, too many. Lord, I love my Niners, but I ain't going that far. That's way too much. This is going too crazy. So, no.
Well, we're glad that you're here now, Shaquille. So
yes, Shaq. Welcome back to the show.
Welcome
Shaq.
to the show. And let me see if I can think of something to say about Mike Evans. He's good. That's all I got. I have Mike Evans in one of my. Actually, I do have Mike Evans in one of my leagues, and he's done well. I don't. Well, what I'm gonna say is not gonna be very nice though. the one thing, and we said this before about Mike Evans, I'm scared for what happens when Chris Godwin gets back.
Yep.
So I hope Mike Evans can continue since I have him in this league, but I think when Godwin gets back, he's not going to be looking for him as much. I think.
Well, they do. Tampa Bay, they got a good matchup this week.
Yeah.
And it could possibly be a shootout. So Mike Evans could get that work. Get a lot of work.
Yeah, he could.
Lot of work. I mean, we had an argument at the wedding, right? Well, we didn't have an argument, but we was in the room getting ready.
Yeah, not during the ceremony.
So this guy, we was in there saying, like, my brother was like, who is the top 5 receivers? Mm-hmm. And he said, Michael Thomas is not top 5. And we all like looked at him like he was crazy. And then Shaq was like, Mike Evans is top 5. We was like, no, he's not. So he was like, I was like, no, he's not top 5. Yes, he is top. No, he's not, Shaq. I don't know where you get this from. Where do you get your numbers from, Shaq? But he's not top 5. Shaq was killing me, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, he says, let's talk about your brother saying not only is Mike Evans not top 5, but Mike Thomas not top 5 either.
Yeah, my brother was saying that Michael Thomas is not top 5 because they say he's a system receiver, which I do not get. We was like me and my brother DJ was saying this to our older brother, and we was like, "Yo, are you kidding me right now?"
Right.
He put OBJ in his top 5.
Not right
And
now. I mean, I will say OBJ is starting to make me believe in him again because he's looking really good this year.
not his top
But
five.
I don't know. But I have to think about. I have to give it some more thought before I set my
No,
top five. So,
not his top
yeah,
five.
I don't think
We
my top
cannot
five.
do.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do that.
But Mike Thomas might not be in the top five if he keeps punching his teammates and getting
Uh,
suspended. But you know,
I hope you get traded. Trade him to the Niners or something. We'll take him over here. Jeez, we'll definitely take him if you don't want him no more. He did get fined though. He got fined like $97,000 for that. So, hey, we'll see.
So hey, Jordan did it. So you know, every once in a while you got to punch a teammate, right?
Hey, make him play better. So, hey, but I got one question though.
Go for it.
I don't understand the Saints on 3rd and 6 and 3rd and 8, and they take out Drew Brees.
Right.
Why do they do that for Hill? I just find that must be the craziest thing. When Drew Brees is hitting a stride, like why?
I'll say I don't know, but I think it's because Sean Payton is a genius and he wants to throw in all these offensive things that no one's expecting. But I don't get it because number one, when Hill comes in, you kind of know what's about to happen, right?
That's what I'm saying.
And watching this week, one of the times they did it, it completely threw me. This was near the goal. I can't remember where they were on the field.
It was 3rd and 6,
and they put in Taysom Hill, and they faked the handoff, and it's like everyone on the team followed the running back. I'm like, it's Taysom Hill. Why aren't y'all? He ran in the end zone and got the touchdown, so I can't argue with it. It was effective. But to me, it's like, it's Taysom Hill. You kind of broadcasting what you're about to do. And it takes away, because Drew Brees, let's just say it, he has not looked great this year.
No.
So I'm wondering, is that their way of trying to compensating for his decline, if it will be?
I don't see me personally. I don't think it's a decline. I think it's more like, because honestly, if you watch the last game, he got into a groove a little bit. So every time he got into a groove,
week
he took him out.
Yeah, he's probably looked the best he has all year this past week.
Yep.
I give you that. And I'm hoping when Michael Thomas gets back, he looks even better.
He'll look better.
But
the thing is, that last game, when he got into that groove, he was getting into his groove. And then he took him out on a 3rd and 6 to run a running play with Hill. And I'm like, why would you do that when you need 6 yards? It ain't like you need 1. Right. You need 6. To me, that doesn't make any sense by any stretch of imagination why you would do that. And it's funny. I was talking to a Saints fan, and he was like, man, that's the most craziest thing Sean Payton be doing.
Right.
And the fans don't like it.
Yeah.
The fans are irritated about it because either you're going to play him as a quarterback, you're going to play him as a tight end, but I feel like because they paying him so much money, they have to use him at some point. They can't just let him sit on the bench and not use him for what he does. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I just think that's crazy. That got to be Shaq.
I actually have a question as well, but Shaq does say, and this is, I think, in your response to Michael Thomas going over to the 49ers, he says, not with Jimmy G at quarterback. So
that's all right. A
little bit.
Y'all ain't winning no games either. Y'all lost to the Bears, so don't talk to me. Y'all lost to Nick Foles.
That was sad. I don't want to get into that because that cost me something.
Nick Foles. Come talk to me later. I'm
gonna go to a question from KLS Talks. 2 to 3 PPR, 8/810. Maybe he's 8th. I think that means he's an 8th out of 10 places, maybe. But it says 6 seeds to make the playoffs, and it's a very close race, right? So here's your situation: Watson, Moore, Chark, Allen Robinson, Woods, AJ Brown, Hunt, Henry, Cook, Mixon, Madison, Miles Sanders, and I think that's Mark Andrews. Should you trade Mixon and Moore for Anderson and Gaskin? Trade Joe Mixon and DJ Moore
for Robbie Anderson and Gaskin?
Is that Robbie Anderson or... Yeah, I guess that's Robbie. Yeah, I guess that's Robbie Anderson and Gaskin.
I would. I love Robbie Anderson. DJ Moore, that's the same team, though. Yeah. DJ Moore
looked good this past week.
but Robbie
But
Anderson's the
Robbie
better.
Anderson is, yeah.
He's the
I agree.
better receiver on that team. Gaskin's gonna get all he has nobody to take touches away from him.
Right.
Like we talked about earlier, he's definitely getting on the goal line carries and he can get in between. It's just he averaging like 3.5 yards per carry, but he still gets his touches. So I would definitely
I'm looking at the rest of his team. He has looking at the running backs.
Can you say
He has
Madison?
Dalvin Cook.
Okay.
He has Alexander Madison, and Miles
Madison.
Sanders.
He got a lot of good backs.
Yeah, he does. So
Yeah.
in that case, well, let's do it like this. You have DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. I'm reluctantly coming over to your side and saying I'd rather have Robbie Anderson in that situation.
Yes, definitely.
I was not there at the beginning. Well, I still don't want to say definitely because I was a big DJ Moore guy at the beginning of the season.
Yeah,
but
we know.
But the evidence is there, so I'm going to come to your
Yes.
side and say, yes, you win that with Robbie Anderson. And then it comes down to Joe Mixon versus Myles Gaskin. This hurts me again because I was a big Joe Mixon guy before the season starts. Gaskin. But I'm also going to say Myles Gaskin has been the better performer. So, hands down, yes, I trade Mixon and Moore for Anderson and Gaskin without even – I think about it because you're hurting my heart with two players I was really big on in the offseason. But neither one of them has performed the way I thought. Anderson and Gaskin are doing that work right now. So, yes, I agree.
People, I just want – look, me and him, we'll agree on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But I tried to tell him early this year that Robbie Anderson was better than DJ Moore. Yeah. He was like, no, he was better. He's going to do – I'm telling you, Robbie Anderson. And I was right. I'm still
holding out hope that I'm going to be right in the second half. But at this point.
Yes. My problem with CJ Mixon is he always start in the second half.
Yeah, Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon in the second half of the season is going to hopefully start coming more so to light.
Because he does. But also the problem there in
But I don't think Gaskin is going to fall back. Gaskin is unless when we as we've been alluding to when we talk about what to do now with Le'Veon Bell out there, Miami is one of those possibility spots where he might end up. Because Jordan Howard and Matt Breida have been absolutely nothing this year. They've been terrible. And I will add that you were big on Breida, and I said no one in Miami is going to be good. So though I've been wrong on the Mixon and the Moore, I was right on that one. So if they add Le'Veon Bell, that might hurt Gaskin some. But right now, Gaskin is getting that work. So,
you was big on Jordan Howard though.
No, I wasn't. No. I said if I had to choose between here, quote it right. Okay. I said if I have to choose between one of them, I pick Howard over Breida. But I said I don't want anyone in that offense.
That's true.
I said I don't want any one of them. So I'm not big on them. I just prefer them. But thanks, K. Ellis Talks, for the question. Much appreciated. Good luck to you, and hopefully you can pull up that trade.
Yeah, I would do it. I would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So definitely. So yeah. We got a little bit of news, man.
Let's get to the big stuff.
Got some news, man. We got a big one, man. Prescott.
Dak Prescott.
And you know where it happened at, right? It happened. Was they playing in New York, or they were playing in Dallas?
That game was. I'm trying to remember.
Was it in New York?
I want to say it was. I don't know.
Was it? It might have been in Dallas. Might have been. I was gonna say
I thought it was in Dallas, but I'm not 100% sure.
Probably, I think it was in Dallas because I remember seeing fans, so it definitely was Dallas.
You're right.
Yeah. So I was gonna say it was in New York. That field was kind of killing everybody.
Yeah, that game was in Dallas.
But did you see his ankle? Did you see the way it looked?
I saw it, and I wish I hadn't. It didn't look good, but fortunately, he had a successful surgery with it.
That's true.
But
I mean, how does that affect him?
Well, here's the
contract wise.
Exactly. Here's the bad thing about that. He had the franchise tag, so he's cool for this year, and he might get the franchise tag again next year. But I think it all depends on one, how well he recovers what he looks like when he's able, because they said it's like 4 to 6 months he'd be out in recovery time. So, by the time he's able to work on that ankle again, what does he look like? And the biggest factor of all is how well Andy Dalton plays in his absence. Because, like you said earlier, the team is built around him, for success. It's not like Andy Dalton's a bad quarterback. So, with all that talent around him, if he plays well, they're going to be like, yeah, we don't need Dak Prescott. We can play Andy Dalton far less and get success.
I would hold off on that a little bit because to me, I would take the younger guy in Dak over Dalton any day of the week. Now, you're right. Dalton can succeed in that offense, definitely. But I don't think he brings what Dak brings to that offense.
No, not at all.
So Dak is still able to run around and get away when stuff breaks down.
Right.
Dalton ain't doing that. No. Dalton gonna take that sack. He gonna take the sack. He ain't gonna run. So I think Dak is a better fit for that offense. My question is, are they gonna pay Dak? Because at this point, if I'm Dak, I need a long-term contract. I don't need to be.
He's not gonna get that until he can. Like I said, his best hope is to get the franchise tag next year and prove himself that way, and then he can possibly get the long contract. But it's not going to happen before next year. No.
I mean, from what Jerry Jones was saying, he's saying that he is the future of the Cowboys, but I just don't know. I don't believe him.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's like,
because you said you was trying to sign him,
right.
But again, what you don't realize is he turned down $33 million a year.
Yeah.
Because he said he was worth $40 million, which I don't think he's worth $40 million. And the person that got the $40 million is the only one that's worth $40 million right now, and that's Pat Mahomes. So I don't think now I would have took the $33 million and ran with it personally. That's just me. But at the same time, they even offered him 35 like a last ditch effort. They tried to give him $35 million a year, and he turned that down.
Yeah. Because, hey, if you think don't take less than what you think you're worth. So I'm not mad at him for it, but that injury is not going to help the situation.
It's not helping the case now.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
If he would have signed that deal, he would have been locked in that contract for the next 5 years, 4 or 5 years, whatever. He wouldn't have to worry about being franchise tag next year and worry about recovering from an injury when he already going to get his money regardless because they know what happened to him.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. So. I don't know.
But what do you do if you're a fantasy owner? I know you said earlier pick up Andy Dalton. What about the wide receivers, tight ends, even Ezekiel Elliott? How do you think they're affected fantasy wise?
I think Zeke is gonna get way more touches now than he was getting previously. I think CeeDee Lamb is gonna benefit more from Dalton than the other receivers, because if you watch the game after Dalton got in the game, CeeDee Lamb he was the guy that was getting more of the receptions, because I want to say Gallup didn't catch a pass for like the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And the other receiver
Amari Cooper?
Amari Cooper didn't catch one until like the last 2 minutes. So those guys really won't get touches until the game was on the line. But CeeDee Lamb was getting the touches throughout the game. So I think CeeDee Lamb benefits a lot more from this than the other two guys, honestly. Is Zeke just going to get Zeke? Zeke going to get 25 carries a game, 25 to 30 carries, because he's going to have to shoulder the load more than anything now. So definitely, I say get Dalton, because Dalton, the talent is there. I can see if he didn't have talent, but we've seen what he did with AJ Green.
Right.
AJ Green in his prime, AJ Green was really good with Andy Dalton. So he can get to those receivers. It's just we haven't seen Andy Dalton play football in a year. Yeah. So we don't know. So I don't know.
I seem to have lost this comment somewhere. Shaq, I think you mentioned earlier that the Bears lost to Nick Foles. He says they lost to Mac.
Okay, whatever.
They still lost.
They still lost. It don't.
All right, we also have a question. Bills fan for life. Hopefully he's not about to get on us on Josh Allen.
What's up, Keith? What's up?
He says, what's up, fellas? The Bills run game sucks. Do you think Le'Veon Bell would be a good fit? Let's move on to that.
Let's go.
Unless you had more to add on Dak Prescott,
No.
The next what now is Le'Veon Bell's being released from the Jets. Where do you think he? Well, first, what do you do if you're a Le'Veon Bell owner? And secondly, where do you think Le'Veon Bell goes?
So I read on top of what you said earlier, but I did hear that the Chiefs were in the running for him.
No.
I'm just reporting.
I hear you, but I don't think that happens.
I'm just
Go ahead.
Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just reporting it now. They saying that the Chiefs are interested in bringing in Le'Veon Bell, and when I seen that, I just shook my head because that's going to affect the rookie running back that they have. That's bad for business. I don't think they do that. Right. But I do think Buffalo could use him. I think Buffalo is a good landing spot for him. Just because Singletary is not doing what he did last year, and I think that's based on Zach Moss is hurt. So, but I think Singletary needs value. He needs 25. He needs 20 to 25 carries to kind of do what he did last year, and they're not giving it to him. Mm-hmm. So if you bring in Le'Veon, I think Le'Veon supplants him or makes it a 50-50 split immediately when he comes in.
Now, I say no matter where Le'Veon's going, he's going into a committee. It's not going to be like it was with the Jets, with him being the main guy. Here's the places I read today: Buffalo, the Giants, Chicago, New England, Miami, Pittsburgh, and Arizona. Of all of those spots, when I looked at it, I was like, I think Buffalo probably makes the most sense. Yes. And I think that it meets a need. The Giants, I would have liked if they hadn't just signed Devontae Freeman. Not saying that they couldn't get extra up, but the Giants are going to be terrible no matter what happens. So I don't really see a point of them trying to fix the problem. I like Chicago, except for the fact that I have David Montgomery. I don't want anybody messing that up. I got rid of Tyreek Hill, so I'm like, hey, let's not mess with my man's volume. New England actually also but I just don't see this. So that backfield is already so crowded, right?
It ain't even the backfield.
Yeah.
Cam, I love Cam, but Cam takes away from anybody at the goal line. So you can't even those guys are not getting touches at the goal line. So I don't see New England. It's just too crowded.
Right.
And the thing, what people got to realize is this: the Jets paid him $28 million in 14 games.
Yeah.
So he has made so much money in not even a full season from the Jets that he can anywhere pretty much pick where he want to go at.
Yeah, right. Money's not an issue.
Money's not an issue. Now, if it's me, I'm going back to Pittsburgh because that's where you had your success at.
Do they want him back?
I think they do.
Yeah.
I think they will bring him back with open arms.
Yeah.
Now the problem is, what do you do with Connor? That's the big question.
I think Connor still has to stay the guy because he's been there. I think at this point, I'm going to say I think Connor might be better than Le'Veon Bell. I mean, the last time we saw Le'Veon Bell succeed was back with Pittsburgh. But I do think that's a good spot. Continuing, Miami, I think is a good spot because they only have Gaskins, but I don't know if they would have messed that up. And I don't like Arizona because
we know why you don't like Arizona.
Chase
Edmonds. It's okay.
So of all the spots, I think like you said, Pittsburgh, and I think Buffalo make the most sense for Le'Veon Bell.
Okay.
I think they both make sense for the teams as well. So
now, what surprise?
But I think Buffalo would be if I were picking, which I'm not. I would probably pick Buffalo just because Devin Singletary hasn't been that great. So you can easily come in and get past him. I don't know if you can easily come in and take James Conner's spot.
Now, do you think it's a surprise team out there that will pick him up? That you don't even have a clue, they're not even thinking about him. What surprise team out there do you think could use a Le'Veon Bell at this point of the season?
If I'm going, no, I don't think they need him though. The first team that pops in my head, they could perhaps use some extra help, was going to be the Falcons.
But Ty Gurley been running well.
But yeah, God, that's what I'm saying. But I don't think they need him because Gurley's been doing well. But It's not like the Falcons haven't tried to have two good back in the days when they had Tevin Coleman and
I know you're talking about
Devontae Freeman was both. When they were both there, they would give them both work. Surprising. Well, do you have a surprise team?
I'm thinking Baltimore.
That would be more than a surprise.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
J.K. Dobbins ain't working out.
J.K. Dobbins looks good. I mean, they don't give him the work though. But I think
Ingram and if you had I want to say Le'Veon might be he's better than Ingram if he's in the right situation. They run the ball. They run the ball.
They do run the ball heavily.
And I think if he can get in an offense that just runs the ball, I mean, they got to run the ball.
I'd say for Le'Veon Bell, that would be good in as much as, that's what they do. That fits his skill set. I can't see them wanting to get away from because they've been running with Ingram, Gus Edwards, and J.K. Dobbins. And I disagree. I think J.K. Dobbins has looked good in spots. They just haven't used him. They haven't given him the volume that I thought they were going to give him.
Well, they say he's not even – Ingram is the guy. But Ingram is not even putting up big numbers like that. But Ingram's the guy out there. J.K. Dobbins really is just a breather out there.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. Now, Kansas City, I can't see Kansas City. But if he go to Kansas City, I mean, I just don't even know what to make of that, honestly.
I hope that doesn't happen. I don't. Well, we'll see.
Because if you go in there, you're taking Clyde Edwards basically out of just moving them out of the way because you got too many running backs there in the first place. I wouldn't do it.
All right. Well, just continuing on that, Bills fan for life says that he heard that Le'Veon Bell's agent said he only wants him to go to a playoff team. So that would be Buffalo. That would be Pittsburgh. That would fit your Ravens theory.
Yeah.
For what it's worth. We have a new question. Miles asked, should he drop Eric Ebron for Noah Fant?
Yes. In a heartbeat.
Not even going to think about it for a second.
No.
I agree. I think Noah Fant in that offense is a better choice than Eric Ebron. I was big on Eric Ebron like 3 or 4 years ago, and he's let me down every year since then. And
Noah Fant might be the number one option in that offense now.
Exactly. So,
outside of Jerry Jeudy.
If I can get Noah Fant and I have to drop Eric Ebron, I don't think twice about it. I'm with you.
No, I would do that yesterday. No.
Yes. I got a comment from my surname, Jasper Lewis, Sr., and this is a little personal. He says the Bills, sorry, Keith, he says the Bills D sucked last night and blew his fantasy game. I played him, and we talked before about this game, and he was relying on the Bills to bring him over the top, and it didn't work out for him, and he lost by less than 2 points. And so I think he's bitter, but I can understand being bitter on that one. He also says he hopes Le'Veon Bell ends up somewhere soon because he picked him up last week. Yeah, if you can, I don't think Le'Veon Bell is going to be out there long. I think he's going to get picked up soon. My only thing is where he ends up is not going to be as advantageous, I think, as far as the offense. I think he's going to be stuck in a committee no matter where he goes.
Yeah.
And I can't think of a place he'll go where he can just instantly be the lead back. It's going to take, even if they wanted him to be, it's going to take a few weeks to get up to speed. I don't see it working. Miles also says that Bells could go to Cleveland. That's actually not a bad spot with Chubb being out.
Yeah.
And that does also fit the playoff idea. And as you said, a place where they run the ball, and they are definitely going to be running that ball out there.
But how does that help when Chubb comes back?
That's where it falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Chubb can come back in about 6 weeks. So how does that help?
Yeah.
That doesn't help him in a sense.
I still think I like Buffalo better.
I think Buffalo, if I had to pick, it's Buffalo, and I'm still gonna keep my theory of Baltimore out there. I'm just gonna keep it.
I say this: if you end up being right, I will be very amazed at your predictive abilities.
I'm just saying. I'm just thinking about a winner playoff team. He doesn't need the
Right.
money. Opportunity to at least get in there and run the ball because in a sense he has something to prove because he's just been cut.
Yeah.
He already said that. He said I got something to prove. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
So that's telling me he's not going to Miami because Miami's not
Not a
making
playoff team. No.
So that's out of the question. I could definitely see KC. I just don't know. It's too many running backs in the room.
Yeah, yeah.
It's too many running backs in the room. You got Shaden McCoy. You got Clyde. It's just too much going on there. I just think at the end of the day, you got Leonard Fournette. I just no. I'm sorry, Leonard Fournette's not there. But you have it's too many running backs in that room for me to say, you know what, I can't see him. But Buffalo definitely, if he went to Buffalo, I think he's gonna get the 50-50 carries immediately, and then at some point he can take that job away from Singletary.
Yeah.
In New England, I want to say no, but we all know how Bill Parcells is. He might go out there and just
Bill Belichick, you mean? But yeah,
Bill Belichick. So he might go out there and actually just go out there and get him.
I think that's the worst spot for him, only because Bill Belichick kills fantasy running backs. But
that's true.
But we got Keith is Bill's Fans for Life. He has our show script because to continue with our what now, another bit of news that happened that you have to think about fantasy wise. Melvin Gordon might get suspended. So which running back would you trust on the Broncos? We were talking about this right before the show. The news came out today. Hey, I like Philip Lindsay if he's coming back healthy.
He practiced full today. But they saying him and Royce Freeman going to share the load. But
Royce Freeman is not a thing. They tried to make Royce Freeman a thing years ago. It's not happening.
Yeah,
Philip Lindsay.
They tried that two combination running back thing before they got Gordon, and Royce Freeman couldn't do his job. So no, Philip Lindsay is the guy to go.
Royce Freeman is a fraud.
Yeah.
There you go.
But they definitely gonna suspend. They saying that
2 to 3 games at the least.
2 to 3 games. Yeah. But the coach sent Gordon home today.
Right.
So he sent him home today, and they say it's gonna be some consequences. He's definitely gonna get suspended. Something's gonna happen to him.
Yeah.
So I don't think he played this week, and I probably don't play for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So Lindsay is the guy to kind of get actually out of that backfield if you really need him. If you can get Lindsay. Lindsay is still available in a lot of leagues anyway. So if you really need to get him, you probably can get him now. So it's just except the barbershop because I picked him up today. So. Keith, Bills for life.
All right.
I had to throw that in there. I'm sorry.
Next story: the Falcons fired Dan Quinn. How do you think that affects that offense? We saw. Here's the thing I like is we saw Brian getting fired from the Texans, and then instantly, hey, Houston looked good again. Do you think we see Atlanta get that first win? Matt Ryan finally comes back to life.
I think they get their first win. I think they change up what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
So I think what happens is, I feel like the coach wanted to get, because Julio not being there affects Matt Ryan in a sense, because Julio is his guy that he looks for when he's in trouble, his target. But you got your other receivers there like Gage and Calvin Ridley. You got those two. Calvin Ridley is probably, like you said, probably gonna end up being the number one receiver at some point. But my question for you is, I'm gonna throw it back on you.
Go for it.
The owner came out and said the next GM
Matt
and coach
is in trouble.
get to pick their quarterback. My question is, but Matt Ryan is owed $30-something million. That's a big cap hit. It's a cap hit that they're gonna take just by releasing Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
I don't know, and honestly, we have seen him do this before, because
I think a lot of the answer to that question is gonna depend on what happens over the remainder of this season. If they start looking like the Falcons we all expected to see, I think he stays. If this trash that we've been watching continues,
Okay.
I think he's out the door. And this is one of the shows I like to listen to. That was talking about, wouldn't it be great for the Falcons to suddenly start playing well again and miss out on their shot at getting Trevor Lawrence next year? So that's why if they're bad and continue to be bad, and they're in a position where they can get like a Trevor Lawrence, I think you can kiss Matt Ryan goodbye. His best bet is to right the ship and try to make them into a playoff team,
Okay.
and then he stays, I think.
Where do you think he lands?
I know where you want him to land.
I didn't say a word. Hold on, man.
But I talked to you. Hey, it's R&J Fantasy Football Talk live on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. But R&J talk like throughout the week. So,
but it's okay.
Right.
It's funny you bring that up. I was just going through the news cycle, and I seen that somebody actually posted that ideal of him coming there. And I was like, I was just talking to JJ about this. So I was like, maybe I should have put that out there first, because I think I was thinking that way beforehand when the GM when the owner said that. Do I think it happened? And I'm gonna tell you, for people that obviously that watch this show, check us out every week at 9:00 on Wednesdays. Everybody know I'm a 49ers fan. But what people do not know is Jimmy G is not guaranteed any money next year.
Right.
So he can be pretty much cut. They can cut him and not owe him any penny, not one dime. Do I think they do it? It depends on if the season pans out, how the season pans out this year. Now, would you trade for a 36-year-old quarterback opposed to a 25-year-old quarterback? Is the question. Me personally, I love Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
But I would stick with my young quarterback and just go through the pain and suffering, even though we can get some wins included in that. But Matt Ryan know the system.
Yeah,
like the back of his hand.
That what makes it a great move, because, hey, we reunite with Kyle Shanahan, an offense that you looked good in. So
and the last year that Matt Ryan had a really great season, he won MVP. You know who was the offensive coordinator?
Kyle
Shanahan.
Right.
So, I mean, it's there, but I don't. I mean, hopefully for the sake of Matt Ryan, he starts winning games, because I have.
Forget Matt Ryan. Hopefully for the sake of my fantasy football teams, he starts
if you would let me finish, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say, because I got him in some leagues.
Yeah, but you started wrong. You said for Matt Ryan. I don't care about Matt Ryan or the Falcons. I care about me.
Well, me too. I hope he start winning. Look,
yeah. I need him to start winning, because I need
him to start being productive.
Yeah,
Forget winning. I don't care if you win or lose.
That's
I
true.
just need you
That's true.
300 yards.
By win, I mean me winning, not the Falcons. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're on the right path now.
Yeah.
Us winning some games with Matt Ryan.
There we go.
Yeah. Don't start this week, though, because I play in one league with Matt Ryan. So I need you not to start this week.
I wasn't going to brag, but the last time we played this season, one of us won. I think that was me again.
I get to redeem myself this week in our other league. So we're both
we're in 3 leagues together. So we're going to have this challenge multiple times this year. So
so
I'm gonna save my bragging rights until it's all done, so I can say how many times I whipped up on you. So.
That's all right, because as long as I get a chip, I don't care how much you beat me. Because if I get a chip in the league and I get this money, don't worry about it. So we gonna be good. So
we got one last what now question. I think, unless I skipped one, which I may have. With this new, due to COVID, they moved the schedule all around. So if you're the type of owners that during your draft looked at bye weeks to determine which players you want, you might as well have thrown that strategy out the window, because let's see, new bye weeks. We got Denver's bye weeks moved from 8 to 5. New England's bye week moved from 6 to 5. The Chargers moved their bye week from week 10 to week 6. Miami's has moved to 11 to 7. Jacksonville moves from 7 to 8, and the Jets bye week moved from 11 to 10. So, there's nothing you can do about it, but this is why I always say go for talent, forget about bye weeks. And you can work, because it's not usually because of COVID-19, but there's always some stuff that can mess up that whole thing. So get them over. This is just an advertisement. Get your best talent you can, and bye weeks will be what they be, because yeah, this whole NFL schedule is kind of wacky. And I think the craziest thing about it is if there's another situation that breaks out, they're gonna have to do even more shuffling. Do you think this? What's your opinion on how this schedule maneuvering is gonna
Well, I'm
go?
gonna tell you like this. They did something today, and I think I was gonna post it on the Instagram page.
Right.
They postponed the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, it's being reimagined.
Yeah, or whatever. Postponed.
Right. Like
Postponed the
reimagined.
Pro Bowl, and they moving it to Las
Right.
Vegas in 2021.
Right.
But the reason I say that is the reason they postponed the Pro Bowl is to add an extra week,
Right.
which is 18
The
weeks.
possible week 18. Right.
So that way they don't have any mishaps if it came to another
Right.
COVID and something had to stop. And now is okay, they got an extra week to do another week before the Super Bowl.
Right.
So it comes down to this. Now that all these other sports like hockey and baseball, all this stuff is about to be over, they have from Thursday to Tuesday for NFL games. Because you've seen, we just had a game on Tuesday, so they can kind of flex that schedule in on a Tuesday to make it work because there's nothing else on TV.
Yeah. I like that Tuesday night.
I actually liked it. It was fine. You get Thursday, Saturday. I mean, you get Sunday, Monday,
right,
Tuesday. I like it. I mean, the only thing I don't like about it is, for fantasy purposes, you cannot make a move until Wednesday.
It pushes stuff back, right?
It pushes stuff back. You can't do anything.
But
that's the only bad part.
The good part for R&J fantasy football watchers is we get to tell you about waiver pickups before they happen. So they,
I ain't think about that.
Look,
that's
a gift
really
horse
great.
in the mouth for whatever. I don't know. I forget sayings, but the point is, that can work to our advantage.
I mean, I actually like it, but I think my strategy was like when I drafted, I had like probably 6 people that had the same bye week.
Yeah.
I don't care about that because I don't draft for bye weeks. I draft for talent. So I draft the guys that I think the best available in each round. That's who I want to. Especially after your first 3 to 4 rounds, you're basically going off the talent that you like that's available. So they may have the same bye week. You got to deal with it. Yeah. I mean, if you got to take an L, if you got all your talent on the same bye week, but you got a good record at the end of the day, you might got to take an L.
Yeah.
Just to kind of keep your talent because you don't want to trade it just to kind of survive that 1 week. It just don't make sense to me. So
100%.
That's the strategy I go with. So
100%.
That's just me. So I mean, I got 7 championships, so I must know something. So
I've got 8, so I must know one more thing than you do. So
hey, we got 15 together. So
there we
who
go.
cares?
Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's right. Let's go. So, I do have one more.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with fantasy, but they're saying an NFL bubble.
Oh yeah.
And for the divisional rounds, I don't like the idea of an NFL bubble. I think it cheapens that whole thing. I mean, obviously no fans, but still, you want somebody to have some type of comfort of being in their home stadium. So I don't like it. I mean, I would do it the way it is, and just keep the stands empty and just let them play. Because obviously you only had an outbreak in Tennessee, and only a couple teams had a real bad outbreak, which was just Tennessee, honestly.
Yeah, that's been the worst one.
That's been the worst one.
And
England,
and a lot of it had to do with the fact that they skirted so many rules.
Yep.
But I guess it doesn't matter though, because and I meant to mention this earlier. They went 2 weeks without practicing, and it's like, who cares? They looked very nice.
Speaking of Bills for Life.
Okay.
We need you up here. We need you to come up here. We need you to come on over. You come over here and sit with your boys for an hour. I mean, you can comment at this time of night, but we need you to come on over. So let's come on. We done talked about this before.
We can definitely work that out.
So come on now. we like your podcast that you got.
Come school us on Josh Allen and how wrong we were.
He looked like the real Josh Allen last night, but we ain't gonna
I was waiting all show for you to bring that up.
Well, I won't go say that because Bills for Life got a podcast, and he was like, "No
Yeah.
need to panic. People be hating on Josh Allen." So I kind of temperamented my stuff down a little bit
Okay.
because
We'll,
but
we'll,
he
we'll,
did.
we'll have him look like Josh Allen another week before we mention that one. Oh, before we go, a new question just popped in from Truman. Thanks for joining us. He said he had Dak, so he's in need of a quarterback. Is getting Lamar for Anderson and Crowder a good trade? He already has Devontae Adams, Galladay, and goodness gracious, wide receivers on fleek. Okay. Yeah, he already has Devontae, Galladay, and Godwin. So should he get Lamar Jackson and give up Robbie Anderson and Jamison Crowder?
Ask him, is it a PPR league?
Is it PPR? Well, you just asked him yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it a PPR league?
Yeah, let us know if that's PPR or not.
Yeah.
But at face value, if you already have those three wide receivers and Godwin should be coming back soon.
Yeah, I would make the trade.
I think I make that trade.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But if it's a PPR league and he got that much talent, I'm pretty sure he can get a more passing quarterback with that talent.
Right. I would also ask, because you have one of the best. He said yes, it is a PPR league. My next question is going to be how many teams are in this league? Because with that wide receiver list you got, I'm wondering, is there a quarterback on waivers you could get? We talked about a few earlier in the show. We talked about a few options you could get, including Andy Dalton to replace him. I would also say Justin Herbert, if it's a small enough league that he's still available, I would grab him. In fact, I would probably grab Justin Herbert and like it even more than Lamar Jackson. I know that's
me too,
but that's my initial thoughts. Who else might be out there in a small enough league? A Gardner Minshew, but I think I would prefer Lamar Jackson over him.
See, but that's the reason I asked, is it a PPR league? Because if it's a PPR league, I think Herbert, as far as passing and throwing for 300 yards, couple touchdowns, I think he's a better option as far as passing the ball. But if it's a non-PPR and quarterbacks get a lot of points for rushing, then Lamar is the better option. But with those receivers that he have, I'm pretty sure you can probably get a Matthew Stafford over a Lamar if it's a PPR league like that.
All right, he says it is PPR, 10 teams in the league. Unfortunately, Herbert is taken. Fitzgerald is available. I'd like Fitzgerald for a quick fill-in, but the truth is Fitz
is going to get benched.
That job has
at some point.
He's done very well with that job this year, but at some point, I think they're going to try Tua. So I like Fitz for now, but I don't know how long that's going to. I just think this might be an end somewhere to that Fitz magic story.
If I was him, I would try to make a trade. I mean, if you can get Lamar, that's good. But if you can try to get a Big Ben for those two receivers, because if he got those receivers, I'm pretty sure he can package a better deal to get a better passing quarterback in a PPR league. For me, that's what I would do.
I'm trying to think. If I lose Crowder, I'm not mad about it though.
No.
So the only one that's really on that thing that I think I still make that trade, even for Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson would be especially in PPR. Lamar Jackson isn't my first choice for a guy, but I think I would do that trade to have someone. Especially you just lost Dak Prescott. I like the trade itself. I think Lamar Jackson for especially if he's, like I said, he has Devontae Adams, Galladay, and Godwin, so he's not hurt at wide receiver. And if it's like a tradition when you start two wide receivers and maybe have a flex spot, you're only using Anderson or Crowder as a bye week replacement. And we went over early in the show tons of wide receivers that are out there available in leagues you can pick up. You can replace a Crowder hands down, so I don't even think about Crowder in this trade. The Robbie Anderson, you might not replace as easily, but I think you can. So that's why I said I think that the trade itself is good, but yeah, I would like some. I would try. He says, true. He just start Fitz against the Jets. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
definitely on that one.
I mean, because honestly, if he's trying to like Robbie Anderson, not Robbie Anderson, but Crowder, I think can be replaced with a
Yeah.
Chase Claypool or Emmanuel
Yeah.
Sanders. I mean, those like even not Brandon Cooks, but Brandon Cooks is not. He doesn't do it every week.
Yeah.
But I think the connection that Breeze and Emmanuel Sanders
Yeah.
is getting right now, I think you can actually fill in what a what you can get from the receiver that you lost, honestly.
Right.
So I think at the end of the day, Claypool, Emmanuel Sanders, I mean, you got a
Yeah.
ton, like, there's a ton of receivers out there
All right.
that you
So
can get.
thumbs up or thumbs down on the trade?
I'll do a thumbs up if that's what he can
Thumbs,
get.
yeah, I would do thumbs up if that's the. I would see if you can get something, but I definitely take that one if that's my best option.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good one because you're not gonna miss. You're definitely not gonna miss Crowder,
Robbie
and
Anderson
you're
is
not gonna
different.
really miss Anderson that much.
No, not with those receivers that you have.
Yeah,
I mean,
not with those.
no.
Yeah. So
Because you're not starting Robbie Anderson over those receivers that you got.
never in a million years.
No, so
Right.
I wouldn't. Definitely, you're not.
So that,
and then
yeah, he's a bye
if
week
he-
guy, and I'm not gonna lose
yeah,
my league on a bye week guy when I can get Lamar Jackson, who you know is
And
gonna
then
be a solid guy.
pick up Fitzpatrick.
Yeah,
for this week
pick
to
up
play,
Fitz while you can.
play the Jets, and I think you'll be straight.
Yeah.
So
All right. Thanks for the question, Truman. We appreciate you being on this show. I guess that's it for this week.
That's it.
All
Hey,
right.
you know what to do. Like the show.
Yeah, hit like, hit subscribe.
And get with us. You know,
Right up here.
Fo-
Instagram,
follow-
Facebook, YouTube,
follow us.
RJ Fantasy
We-
Football Talk.
We here.
All right, hold up. Before we go, your boy Keith came back in. Bills fan for life. Fitzpatrick, Rivers, and Garoppolo. Which quarterback gets benched first? I was hoping it was Phillip Rivers because I picked up. I think I did that in the league that we're in with Keith.
Yeah.
I picked up Jacoby Brissett for a second, and then I dropped him again because I was like, they have to be about to drop Phillip Rivers. He's awful. Of those three, I think Phillip Rivers deserves to be benched first, but I'm going to say it's going to be Fitzpatrick. I don't think Garoppolo gets benched at all.
He's not getting benched.
Yeah.
I can tell you.
Well,
I
he
can
did
tell you
last
that from
week, but because of the injury. But I think it'd take a lot for him to get benched.
I can tell you from a personal standpoint, he's not going to get benched.
Yeah.
I can tell you that now. So that's just, I would know. So it's not happening. Now, Fitz, on the other hand, I think they want Tua to actually play.
Yeah, I think
But
they're
I don't
mad that
think
he's
Tua-
doing so well because they want to bench him.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think Tua is better than Fitz right now, but they
No.
just want Fitz to
Yeah,
play.
they want him to play.
I mean, they
Especially
want
if you've been
Tua to
watching
play.
Justin Herbert. You're like, hey,
Yeah.
let's see what we got. Right.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, I would go Fitz. Phillip Rivers does need to get benched.
He should have been benched
But-
last week.
I just don't think it's going to happen, though.
Yeah.
They're not going to bench him because they paid him too much money. I doubt they bench him. I don't see it happening.
I think he
Fit-
had to. I mean, it's not like he hasn't already been exceptionally bad, but I think he has to go out and throw like 4 touchdowns before they've been from not 4 interceptions, and then they maybe bench him.
I don't even think they do it then.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
I mean, I'd be surprised if they do, but I just don't think so.
Yeah.
So,
So.
but we'll see. But
We'll
we
see.
appreciate everybody,
Yeah,
tuning
thanks
in.
for
We
joining.
appreciate the questions. Subscribe to the page. Subscribe to the YouTube. Like everything we like, and we're here. We ain't going nowhere.
All right. Remember, watch this Saturday show. Midday, you'll see us on YouTube. It's not a live show, but we go through every single game, tell you which players you need. It is the 40-second play clock. We have 40 seconds to tell you all the information you need for us. So join us back.
Join us back. We're here. We ain't going nowhere. I keep trying to tell y'all.
All right now. Peace.
All right.